But let's talk about it though. So I actually think Assidious is actually one of the top 10 worst perks in the game because standing still for 3 seconds grants you the undetectable status effect until you move or act again. There is barely any reason for you to actually be stopping and not moving, especially now with the whole new camping mechanic, which you can't really camp survivors because they get free off the hook. So Insidious is just kind of useless, and I think it needs to be reworked. That's actually one of my perks that I think needs a rework immediately because it's just not good anymore. I guess maybe if you put them in the basement, I guess, but then now Dead by Daylight, it's all about like being in comms now, so it's just, that's also just terrible. I'm not, that's just my opinion though. I think this perk needs to be reworked. They buff it at tier 3. It's 1 second only. I get that. I understand that, but even then when it's 1 second, it still feels kind of useless because you have to not move. So it just seems like, well, I guess so. I find that the perk would never be really good because even if it's 1 second, you have to stop moving for you to get the benefit. But when are you ever stop moving? When are you really to the point like, I don't want to move because this would be beneficial? If you're in a chase, you don't want to stop moving. If you're camping, like I said, like we talked about, there's a whole camping mechanic now where survivors can get off the hook, so you can't even do that. And people also in comms as well. So I don't know, I feel like it needs to be reworked. But you know what, actually I know people are going to be really surprised by this. I think Lightborn is actually not that great of a perk. I understand, like, if it's very situational because I know there's bully squads, and I get that. But anyways, though, I think Lightborn is also kind of a little bit overrated, and I think the perk is not that great. I think it's very situational when it comes down to flashlights and firecrackers. It's hard to tell whether or not you're even going to go up against that squad. I mean, if you 100% knew, but you don't really know. So I think Lightborn is also not that great. But of course, that's just my opinion, Beast of Prey, when you gain Bloodlust, gain undetectable for 35 seconds. I don't really see a purpose of that. I really don't see a purpose of Beast of Prey because if you're in the Bloodlust, right, and you're chasing after someone, number one, let's say if they're in comms, chances are, I'm not going to lie, they're probably in comms with something, right? Or even if they're not in comms, the left side is going to display it that they're being chased by the certain individual, right? So that's number one. Number two, maybe you can use it for mind games because I know what Paradox says that it works in mind games. Maybe, I guess if you're doing like the T and L shape where they're trying to, loop you very well, maybe I can see use of that. But is it really useful to the point like you need to take this up in a perk slot? I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think Beast of Prey is not that great, man. I don't think so. I think they need to rework this one as well. What about 2 can play? I know some people like it, but it doesn't seem to play. 2 can play. Let's actually talk about that. Anytime you're stunned or blinded by any survivor 2 times, if there's no hex totem associated with hex, 2 can play. Adult totem becomes a hex totem. Survivors who stun or blind you are blinded for. I actually 100% agree with you. I think the fact, like, if a survivor is blinded, I mean, I don't think it's one of the worst. I think it's like, in my opinion, it's like, let me put it in perspective here. It's like almost really close to being like a very, very bad perk that needs to be reworked. But it's also like, it's not that terrible. Maybe because if you can partner that up with Spirit, maybe, where if someone it hits you with the pallet and then it blinds them. Survivors who stun or blind, you're blind for one. So maybe that can actually help out and actually be partnered up with it. Maybe you can make some good combos with it. I could see some of it. I could see if you could do combos with it. I mean, the only reason why I mentioned Insidious or even the Prey one is because I feel like there's just no reason for it. I don't even think, you're in chase. I guess. I mean, that right there is kind of hard to combo with it. I feel like Chucky, I feel like you can actually combo something with it. And if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the chat. If the stun was longer, then maybe. Yeah, if the stun was longer, that would help out. So I give you that. If the stun is longer, then I think it would be really... 2 can play is really bad. It doesn't matter because your pout stun time for killer is 3 seconds. Yeah, I could see that for 3 seconds. But, you know, maybe, you know, shoot. Maybe you need it a little bit, you know, faster. So, I think it's... I want to call it bad. I really, really do. I want to call it bad. But I'm like, it's like, maybe there's something you could do with it. Maybe there's something. Maybe there's something you could do with it. Maybe.